welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name's Rodney.
And my name is Zach.
Zach, I'm not sure about you, but I have had the test, and unfortunately the results are positive for me missing Formula One and talking to my buddy about it. But we said that we would return when there was good news, and there is some news, and it's relatively good, or at least it's not bad. So we're here to cover the good news and then get into yet another commentary track. But how has your time been since our last recording?
I mean, could I make any more bread? Probably not. It took ages. Just bloody hell, man. I'm trying all the different types. Did some white bread. You got to start there, the basics. And now I'm on the no knead process. You just wax some stuff in a bowl, mix it up. You leave it for like 18, 20 hours. Come back, bang it in the oven, mate. It's easy.
Sounds
see
like
how it goes.
I
haven't killed anyone
control.
yet.
Yeah. And what are you going to name your bakery when you open it?
Le Petit Garçon, the little boy.
Does that have something to do with baking, or?
Yeah, no. I was just trying to think of a French thing.
No one will know anyway, it's fine.
I liked baguette around it. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
No?
I'd pay it.
If you're in Germany, though, I tell you what, one bakery I would go to, there's one in Cologne and there's one in Berlin, Zeit für Brot, which is time for bread. The cinnamon scrolls there. Oh man, Rod. If any of our listeners are in Germany or will be going to Germany at some point in the next 5 years, probably not the next 5 days, Zeit für Brot, man. Zeit für Brot. It's fun to say.
Yeah, and I bet it smells real, real good. Well, Zach, there has been some F1 news, so we should probably cover exactly what it is. And it is good news.
Let's keep talking about bread.
Okay, cool. Listeners won't believe me, but you will hopefully back me up that not on the show last week, but around the show, before or after the show, in the shoulders before and after the show, I said something to you along the lines of, look, when F1's ready to come back, they will make a big announcement and it'll be a long way away. We'll have a long lead up. We're going to have a lot of space between the announcement and the proposed first date. And that is pretty much exactly what's happened with F1 saying they want to return to racing in July at Austria behind closed doors. So no fans, but we've got a nice cushion here of 2.5 months to get ready. Basically the entire normal off season. We've got that entire time again to get ready before the quote unquote start of the F1 season. What was your reaction when you heard that news?
I think it's hopeful. I suppose I'm happy about it. I hope that they can pull it off. I mean, the countries like Austria, Germany are starting to come out of their isolation measures, or their current containment measures. There's word that the Bundesliga, the German soccer league, might be back in May, as early as May, which should be, it's barely a few days away at this point. So these are all good signs. I think that the announcement of trying to get a lot of racing done very quickly, I think it all makes sense as far as they're trying to break the season up into 4 parts to Europe, Asia, Eurasia, and the Gulf, and just kind of move the whole F1 circus en masse in one go to one area and then move it all again to a new area. I think that's a good plan, a good strategy, as it were. But I think they're still being a little aspirational, and I don't know if we'll hit that first date. But I hope we do. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously the first thing I'm looking for is sort of scanning all the announcements and the proposals for what could go wrong. There's a lot that could go wrong, it turns out. I think a not friend of the show, but someone that we admire, Pablo Elizalde, or whatever his name is, said that if they start in Austria in early July and they run double headers and then have 1 week off for the entire year, if they do that, they'll fit 17 races. So that's not great when they want to have up to 18. And, I guess we're hearing reports about, maybe they'll run 2 races in a weekend at Silverstone and all this other crazy stuff. So certainly none of that is in the announcements, but there is something like that coming. Triple headers, quadruple headers, 2 races in a weekend. There's something they're going to have to pull some tricks to get to the numbers that they want, but they're saying they want at least 15, possibly 18 if they really push things. And that's the problem. The problem I have with that is that Ross Brawn was still saying, when they were cancelling Australia, China, Bahrain, they were still like, yeah, I think we'll still go to Spain and we'll still get that race done. I'm like, that was never really on the cards by that time, mate. So I feel like Ross Brawn's timetable it skews on the optimistic side of things. But look, we know that they want and need 8 races for this season to be declared a thing. And I mean, it's looking more likely that they'll get that if we can get some of those, 2 races at Austria, 2 at Silverstone, that kind of thing, all of them behind closed doors. It's gone from being something that it just isn't going to happen to something that might happen. Is it going to be good? Maybe not. There's certainly not going to be much atmosphere. But when you've got, nice sweeping camera angles of cars going real fast and the familiar drivers, it'll still be something to do. It'll be something for us to watch. And Lewis Hamilton, when he keeps winning all the races, will have to stand on the podium and unfortunately say that they have the best grandstands that are empty in the world.
How would you change the podium setup for no fans? Would you do it in a nice room?
A nice room?
Maybe nice, like...
Oh, I know what you do.
Yeah.
What you do, you set up a green screen and you do it on Zoom, and everyone can have custom Zoom backgrounds, whatever you want. There you go.
And that way all the fans can tune in too.
Oh, mate, you got to get that fan engagement going.
Yes. Yes, there's going to be way more like live streaming of this. Like, it would maybe make sense for Formula One to. I mean, I'm sure the rights holders will be like, well, we're not going to put the races on for free, those kinds of things. But this is a good opportunity to get racing out in front of more people, maybe loosen up some of those like copyright infringement situations and just get the races out to as many people as possible. That might be in the hands of Sky and Fox and all the people who hold the rights in separate countries. But, maybe a good opportunity.
One of the interesting factors, I think, is, as you said, they're sort of hoping they can get a few races in Europe, a few races in Asia. You think about the Asian races that are scheduled for later in the year. It's like Japan, no problem. That's on a circuit. That's fine. Singapore, I mean, the streets there are probably deserted already. So, but then the question becomes, does the actual place who funds a lot of the money to run the race, do they actually want to put up all that money if it isn't going to deliver anything for the people? So you'd have to question whether that one will go ahead. But there's others like Spain have said they might want to do one behind closed doors. Bahrain has been shifted from the start of the year to the end of the year, so we might finish with like a run of Bahrain and Abu Dhabi. Those kind of ones should be, fine. I think that we could pretty quickly get to 8 if we can run them behind closed doors. The other question mark that I have is, you've got people coming from the UK, you've got people coming from the US, and neither of those places are doing so great with their numbers right now. So even if everyone practices the best hygiene practices, they're still coming from places that are troublesome, and they're going to have to, go out in public, go to the airport, get on planes. I mean, even if you charter private planes, like, what do you do? Do you do that for every single F1 personnel? What do you do when they fly into the country? Do they get in a taxi? Like, that seems impossible. So,
and are those countries going to be happy to have them fly in? Like, a lot of these countries will be like, we're not taking visitors from England or the US right now,
And not just drivers, all the team staff, all the mechanics. We talked about this previously as well. Local marshals are going to have to show up and work there. So there's still a lot of people, and media, of course. Media are going to want to go. So there's still a lot of people that are involved, and they still have to come from a lot of different corners of the world. So, I think what's being proposed is probably the best that they can come up with, but it still seems, it's a bit fragile. It's a bit tentative. And it's not going to take a lot. It's like they're building it up on top of a house of cards, and it's not going to take a lot for it to fall over. So let's stay hopeful but optimistic.
Yeah, and look, the chances are that we'll get races at racetracks and not at other places, and that there will be shortened weekends, and maybe there'll be a core group of marshals that goes around with some locals. I don't know how well you need to know the track to be a marshal. Like, if they could have perhaps 100 marshals that will just do the whole season. Because you'll need fewer marshals for the actual people. You'll need, as far as like track safety and stuff, it'll only be the drivers and the teams. Like, that's it. So it should be kind of F1 light, F1 skeleton crew. But yeah, I wonder about will team members be able to go home during this period as well, or will they basically break the season up into kind of maybe 4-week increments where they just go like, sorry, for 4 weeks you're just on the road. You're not going home. You're staying in isolated hotels, all that kind of stuff. And they're going to test you every week or those kinds of things. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's interesting too to note that the announcement includes racing until December, but not into January, because that was something that was floated. You know, if we're keeping the regulations the same for next year anyway, why can't we keep racing into January and then just do testing in February and then keep going? But they do seem to be wanting to draw a deadline at December to say, no, it's going to be this year. I think that actually works a little bit better, because if you want to declare this season, the 2020 season, having races in a different year than that, it's not a good look. But
no, you might as well shorten the amount of races you want to have. Like, just get to that 8 races and go from there.
Yeah, and they are open to the possibility of letting fans return when it is safe to do so. So, I mean, I think they're sort of aware. Like, look, we get it. We're going to have to start without fans. Let's not rule out having fans at races ever this year, but. We'll allow it when it happens. I don't really know that that's going to happen, to be honest, because the amount of people that are going to be let in is going to have to be sort of small. Like, at the moment, it's just been announced, where I am in Victoria, that, we might be looking at letting 2 people come around to someone else's house. And we're celebrating that. The thought of having 150,000 people to an F1 Grand Prix is like, we're a long way away from that. So is it better to just say no fans, or say, well, you can have maximum 500 fans and they all have to stay miles away from each other, because then you've got to get cleaning crew, you've got to get first aid crew, you've got to get hospitality crew. It becomes not really worth the effort. So, they might be better off just saying no fans until next year. Just rule that out. But anyway.
But is there an opportunity here, Rod, that you could run like a lottery? Like, could you be one of the 3
an
fans
entree lottery
that goes to... Could you be one of the 3 fans that gets to go to, the proposed French Grand Prix or Spanish Grand Prix or Abu Dhabi this year?
If there's only 1,000 tickets on sale, maybe you auction them off, and instead of going for $300, the uber rich can pay
$300,000.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not really about indulging the whims of the 1% so much, but if F1 needs to run, if it's a choice between having a race or not.
Podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
This Formula 1 is literally the indulgement of the whims.
Oh boy. So anyway, Zach, that's kind of the situation of F1. We said we would provide an update when there was one, and we have it now. So it's in our lap. We know what to look forward to now. We know what the target is. Yep. It's Austria. It's very close to Australia. Pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to have a replacement for the Australian Grand Prix, then the Austrian Grand Prix is a good one to replace it.
I guess so. So what the plans ahead for the rest of our show this week, you probably noticed based on the runtime that it's longer than 10 minutes. We're going to do an episode 3 from season number 2 of Drive to Survive, another commentary, and then Zach, I believe you have a super quiz ready for me?
I do.
Fantastic. So either listen to the commentary or skip ahead for that, but stick with us. We're going to run ahead with this show as scheduled, but we thought it was timely to deliver that little nugget that the season has I don't know, it's almost like they're warming up. One of the lights has gone off. Now we need to wait for the other 4 lights to slowly in sequence light up, and then when they go off, we'll be in Austria. So that's a long wait, but I mean, the cars might get a little bit hot waiting that long, but that's what we've got ahead of us. Zach, shall we get into the commentary track?
Yes, Season 2, Episode 3 of Drive to Survive, or as we call it, Dare to Swear.
Dare to Swear.
It's titled Dogfight.
Dogfight.
Have you got the link ready? Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I am very good.
I will count down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Dun dun.
Boom, boom. So,
previously on.
Oh boy. Everyone was talking about this one at work when they saw it. It's an awkward one to talk about at work, but yeah. And this is obviously one of the intros that I was thinking of when we're talking about, I dare you to swear, I dare you to swear. And Ricardo is up to the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, he's always up to doing something like the naughty little boy that he is, right? He's a naughty little boy.
Very much.
It looks weird now seeing him in Red Bull stuff.
It always happens like that. It's like when Vettel went to Ferrari. It seemed weird to see him in red overalls, and now when you look back and you see him in the Red Bull overalls, you're like, what? Really? No.
Oh. God, he's all sweary all the time. Hey, that was Melbourne.
Was it?
Yeah, I recognised the billboard above the Young and Jackson.
Oh, right,
kind of tessellates away, like it's got weird... That's the second time we've used tessellate on this podcast in the last 2. Kind of like his little pixelation that disappears.
So I saw in the little write-up in this one before we hit play that it's about colour signs. So is this, I don't recall off the top of my head, and we're going to find out anyway, but is this the grudge match reunion of colour signs versus Ricciardo? Obviously, Ricciardo took his seat at Renault.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it is, because this is very much is the intro. This is very much about like, why did Daniel even choose Renault? Like, he had options apparently, and there were reasons why he wanted Renault. He just loves Cyril Abitable. He likes saying Abitable.
Yeah, he got paid
They didn't
lots
make
of
a big
money
gamble
to go
signing
there.
you. You were the most accomplished driver that was available. There aren't many F1 winners on the grid anymore, really.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you want someone who has won a Grand Prix, then there's only what?
You got to pay.
It seems like 3 people. Oh God, I want Carlos Sainz Jr.'s life, or Carlos Sainz regular. That paella! Look at the giant paella rod.
I mean, they know how to make
Doesn't
it
this look
right.
perfect?
Oh boy, it's
Everybody's
not
happy.
difficult
It's
living, is
warm.
it?
No, Mallorca. That's where I want to live. Sorry, Mallorca.
Sorry, give me that one again.
Mall orca.
Mall orca. It's like an orca whale that's in a mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
pour me
it's
a
the
glass,
mall
please,
orca.
Carlos. Thank you.
Here for all the savings.
You just know that all of this is the very best that's available. The very best ingredients, the best wine.
Yeah. From his own family's vineyard. Oh, I bet you that's Estrella Galicia.
Oh,
That
right.
beer that was in the pint glass.
Oh,
Estrella
okay.
Galicia.
One of your faves?
No, it's just the one that sponsors him.
Oh,
You know,
right.
whenever there's any shots of him in like having a beer, it's
It's,
always Estrella Galicia.
It's
It
always a bit
sounds a lot like
staged.
Australia. I like his voice.
It's
Oh, yeah, Zorro.
something about it seems different to the usual Spanish accent. I don't know what it is. I can't place it.
Is it because, I mean, you know how Spain's broken up into all the different parts of Spain, and they're all the kind of different districts and regions, like Catalonia and Basque. I wonder where he is from.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I think of the accent as just being a bit more breathy, but he has a very deep, rhythmic sort of pound to his tenor. I don't know, it's weird. But I mean, everyone probably thinks I have a weird voice too, so I'm certainly not one to throw stones here.
How old do you think Carlos Sainz Jr. is, Rod?
He's probably only like 26 or something.
Yeah, he's 25.
25?
In my
yeah.
head, he was starting to get towards 28, but no, he's still... Maybe he just...
Good though.
It's that head of hair. It's so mature.
He's got such a good helmet of hair.
Good
But you know that
helmet of
Netflix is going to be shooting you that day. Why? Is this what you would do? Go scuba diving? Not sure.
I think they have to
I guess
do
they're
this kind of
spearfishing,
stuff.
but
I think that's because that matches the narrative, right? Like, you got to get down there, keep trying, and you know, find your target. Also,
yeah.
those
do
harpoon
something
guns
that-
are amazing.
Do something with some symbolism, please. This reminds me of an episode of Anthony Bourdain's cooking show where he went diving to catch some fresh fish, and he was like, he was like, you can probably tell the producer is just at the shore level throwing fish in. Like, it's obvious to look at it. They're just like hitting the water and then just sinking straight down. These are not live fish. And I was like, good on you for calling that out.
You know why he was happy to go and do that, Rod?
Why is that?
Because he's got no reservations.
Ah, very good.
Look, he's got one. It looks like
Port lunch.
For a second there, it
Did you
looked like
say-
a lizard.
Did you just say it looks like him?
No, I said he got one.
He got one, yes he did. So this launch
looks
a
younger
little bit less upmarket than the Haas launch.
Because I would do all of, like, I would choose to do events in the McLaren HQ whenever I could.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I also really like Zach Brown now for some reason. I don't think I liked him when he started, but now I've got a he'd just be like a, you know, like a great uncle. Like, oh, Zach Brown's coming. Maybe it's got the same name as me.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
probably something to do with that. Are you a bit of a fair weather Zach Brown supporter?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, he hasn't done anything wrong. He worked really hard to make Fernando Alonso happy, which tries to make everybody happy and me happy.
Yeah, that's valid.
And then he's made the right call, switching to Renault, and then he made maybe not the right call, but now he's made the right call going to a Mercedes engine, and he's got two young drivers. He's taking the right risks, I feel like.
In the years when McLaren weren't doing well, it was easy to look at him and go, mate, you must be part of the problem. But now that they've come good, you look back at it and go, good on you for sticking in there when things weren't going well and turning it around.
Yeah, he could have been more hands-off. He could have been like, this is all too hard. I'll focus on just making the car business as successful as possible, and we'll kind of wind the Formula One part of the business into just something that is maybe more technical and supplying parts for other places. But it's no, he's like, no, racing is such a core part of this brand that it just has to happen. And he's a deft businessman. I feel like Lando Norris was a great choice, and Carlos Sainz he's a driver who could be there for the next 10 years.
Do you think he goes to the engineers and asks them to come up with a specific formula of hair gel that will just hold under all conditions?
Yes, and absolute shine as well. It's got a little bit of, BP or Shell or something in there just to give it a little bit of You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Love all these cars, especially the ones from the sort of late 90s, early 2000s. They're my favourites.
They're really nice. Wonder why all the road McLarens had the covers on them.
Because they're secret.
Of course. He's a bit monotone, isn't he? Da 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 da. Oh, Ronaldo.
It's funny how
he's from Madrid, so maybe that's why
when a driver is paired with another driver that's a huge character, all of a sudden their character lifts as well. Like you think of, Max Verstappen was seen as sort of Mr. Serious, a little bit, bit of a, disturbing force. All of a sudden paired with Daniel Ricciardo, he's a funny guy, just laughing and having a good time. This guy paired with Lando Norris, all of a sudden he's running and jumping, laughing, having fun.
Yeah. I mean, they're practicing their golf swings. I feel like maybe Carlos Sainz Jr. and his age group of F1 drivers is maybe the last group of F1 drivers that are, all-round sports people. I feel like he's probably actually good at golf and can play soccer or basketball or other sports, whereas maybe the next step younger, like Lando and Max Verstappen and everybody else coming through, is maybe not that sporty and it's actually just very technical.
I don't know. I mean, they're elite athletes anyway, so they've got to just by that. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're incredibly fit. They have their bodies are well-tuned machines. They're going to be good at anything that requires any degree of physical control. That gives them an edge on most people. So I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but when you people who are just kind of sporty, who can pick up other sports, and
I hate those people.
I see a lot of people, a lot of past Formula One drivers who are like that. But could you imagine Lando Norris
Sorry, go on.
Could you imagine Lando Norris is also good at ice hockey? Maybe not.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling to follow the threads of what you're trying to put down, to be honest. Are you saying that they're just sort of technically good at Formula One, but they're so young that they haven't been able to develop in any other way? That it's Formula One all the time, nothing else. And
yes.
They didn't grow up playing soccer in the park. They grew up playing, live streaming on Twitch their FIFA games or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Their body is totally honed, like a jockey. If you decide to be a jockey, you do everything to be like, okay, I'm going to try and stay small. I'm going to stay really fit. I'm going to do everything horsey. And I think Formula One, everything horsey.
Everything horsey.
Whereas Carlos Sainz Jr. looks like he's totally well-rounded. I played golf this morning, and then I got on the simulator for a little bit, and then I went and had some wine, and everything was fine. Whereas maybe Lando Norris is I practiced on the simulator, then I went back to the gym, and then I came home and live streamed the simulator on Twitch, and then I read about the track and stuff, and then I called into the office, and then I dreamt about Formula One.
I don't know. I feel like there's this sort of model that Lewis Hamilton has sort of put. I don't know if it's necessarily accurate or not, but he's putting a message out there of, you need to show up and deliver, and the rest of the time you need to go away and work on your own mentality and live your life and relax and have ups and downs and all the rest of it, and get away from the sport sometimes, and that will help you actually deliver better when you need to. I wonder if that message is filtering through to people who are like, look, train, be hard, put in the performance when you need to. The rest of the time, do whatever makes you, whatever fills out your life and whatever rounds off those edges that you have. So, I mean, that might actually skew things the other way. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
What a dramatic shot.
You got to do your thoracics, right? If you're not doing your thoracics, what are you doing?
I mean, I wonder when they see, like, shots of him stretching, it's like, are you sure you don't want shots of me lifting that 80 kg barbell? Are you sure you don't want that? No? You want me stretching? All right, well.
You want me doing more weird neck stretches, right? You want to catch me doing a weird grimace.
Yeah. You want footage of me. You don't want footage of me towing 10 tires behind me on a rope. No, you want footage of me throwing a tennis ball. All right, fine.
All right. The thing about Cyril Abiteboul as well is he's lucky because he's always got that edgy look to him. Like, you can tell Toto Wolff is upset because he's usually so stern and so like stone, whereas like Cyril Abiteboul always looks like he kind of hasn't slept and that maybe he's got a little bit of a hangover. So like even when he's upset, you're like, but he was like that already.
I think he said in an interview that he doesn't sleep much. Like he's one of those kind of 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night kind of guys.
I suppose if I got to work at Renault every day and like run an F1 team, I would be excited about going to work every day as well. So I'd be like, more exciting stuff to do.
And they're a French team, and then they've got amazing coffee to drink, I'm sure. So
it's true, and the bread's great. You better believe it. Not as good.
So anyway, running around on the streets of this Azerbaijan circuit, it always, especially on the onboard shots, it's always so much tighter, and it just, I'm sure that as viewers, we don't appreciate how easy it would be to, I don't know, put it in the wall, run into the back of your teammate, or reverse into them as you're pulling out of an escape zone. It must be so easy to make those tiny little mistakes.
I feel like I've got some sense of it now. Some of the streets in London are quite narrow, and with social distancing, you've got to really weave in and out of people, keep that 2-meter distance apart. It takes a lot of focus just to walk around these days, and I feel like that's very similar to Baku, if not Monaco. I suppose it's the sections there that make it like the main boulevards there that make it look really wide and open, and then as soon as you get to the castle again, you're like, oh, a car barely fits through there.
Nothing like that at all.
Ugh, P12.
This is the kind of circuit where if there was nobody in the grandstands, I wouldn't know the difference. Like, I never see anyone at this race. Yeah, it could be deserted now. Exactly.
I'd love to go to this race, though. I think that every year, my want to go to Baku is increasing.
I've probably got another, 15 or 16 tracks ahead of that one on my wish list, but it doesn't matter.
Now, when Will Buxton says that Daniel Ricciardo is one of the best racers in Formula One, how long do you think that list is? To be one of the best, how small does that list needs to be for it to have any real worth?
I feel like you've got to be top 6. I mean, there's 20 drivers. You can't be saying he's among the best when you're counting him in your top 10 or something,
Okay, so like the top 35% of drivers are considered the best in F1.
Well, it's not that many. 6. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who is he? Who's better than him?
Or something percent. Yeah, it's true. I mean, no one. In my eyes, he's the best that's ever been, actually.
At everything.
Just never the right car. I mean, have you seen him throw tennis balls around? You don't see many other people doing that.
Exactly. If you got points for throwing tennis balls, he'd be miles ahead of everyone.
Would you like the Renault team more if it was Daniel Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz Jr. together?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so would I. That'd be a great pairing.
Having said that, I haven't seen Esteban Ocon in action, in this setup, so that might be an unfair comparison.
I wonder how he's going to get along with Daniel. That's always the big question for me. Ocon and Ricciardo. We'll see.
what's going to happen. There's a lot of track lead up. I mean, so I feel like sometimes in these episodes, it's like the first 10, 15 minutes, we might not even see the track. This time I feel like we've been more or less on the track the whole time. Daniel and Keys is a recipe for success.
Yeah. Yeah, little Mario Kart reference there. Pretty good.
There's that bag.
Daniel Ricciardo, man of only one backpack.
Yeah.
Also, he's such a cool dude. Look how loose those straps are. Like
So
he's like
loose.
a school backpack.
Exactly.
I've never worn a backpack like that again. As soon as I left schools, my back is too bad. I need a nice, all the clips along the front done up all the time. You know, nice full support. Oh God, Daniel, that sucked. Crashing into Max Verstappen.
They were always going to cover him at this track, weren't they? Because it was either going to be he screwed up again or redemption, you know?
Yeah. It's funny because he's done everything he can at Baku now. He's had a major crash and he's won. So really, in fact, Baku holds nothing for him anymore.
Sunday.
Soon that will be like Sunday, the qualifying and the race. If we're going to get back and finish all these races in the season.
The choice of font for those things. This is episode 3. We're getting into the weeds here. I just don't like the font. It's very vanilla and there's nothing exciting about it.
Scoot. I love that. More scoot, please. Shoo. I love that shot. I love seeing cars coming at them from behind, moving into the overtake.
That's where they come from. When they pass another one, they come from behind.
So you're allowed to scrape the bottom of the barrel, but I'm not. You can talk about fonts, but I can't Will Buxton about overtaking.
It's making a point about fonts, but you're just saying when a car overtakes another car, they have to go from behind to in front. I'm like, yeah, I know. Everyone knows that. That's what an overtake is. Yeah, remember that name? Remember when he was, he was all over the shop. He was our favourite name to say, and I feel like he's not really even he's not in my top names to say anymore. He's not in the top 6 of favourite names.
Is Charles Leclerc your favourite to say now? It's mine.
He'd be up there. Yeah, he'd be up there.
Come on, Daniel.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, we can't.
No,
just put it in reverse, mate. Don't worry about it.
Fuck. It's going to be so bad. I guess, to be fair, he must have figured, he would have gone by now.
He just couldn't see him, apparently.
He
would never do that on
idea,
purpose. See, like, Cyril Abitibul's reaction there was like the waitress had come out and been like, we're actually out of waffles. Like, not my number one driver has just reversed into a rival and probably broken his rear suspension.
Yeah, mate. You're the only thing that's loose in that car.
Screws in your head. No.
I just maybe put this out there. Do you think last season was Ricciardo's worst season as a driver?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, he had a really rough time because it started off so poorly in Melbourne that he didn't. I think we know he's an emotional driver. Like he does drive on being like kind of the underdog and a bit bullish and kind of showing everyone that he's good enough. And people are like, yeah, we know you're really good now. Do it at Renault. And he's just, like, he's had bad luck, but he's also maybe been overdriving.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's kind of had that progression from HRT into Toro Rosso and then into Red Bull where the cars kept getting better and better. And it was the first time where he really had to take a step back and he wasn't used to it. It felt like definitely, like you say, he was trying to overdrive and just didn't suit his driving style or just the place he was mentally. And yeah, I mean, he kind of got as much wrong as you can as a driver, really. Stupid penalties, crashed the car, crashed into other cars. Just, wasn't bad every week, but had more bad weeks than he has had at any other time, really, in his career.
So, at this point, looking at this episode is all about the comparison between Carlos Sainz Jr. and Daniel Ricciardo. Whose career progression would you rather be in right now, or have had at this point?
I would rather have had the career that Ricciardo's had, but I'd rather be in the position that Sainz is in, because the momentum is on his side. it seemed to build every week last year.
Yeah. Because Daniel could be on the downswing of his career now. Like, he's won a couple of races, but he's not at a front-running team right now. I mean, maybe when the formula changes, that will change. But he's heading into the last portion of his career now. He's almost 30.
I guess that's fair.
Or is he 30?
A lot needs to go right for him at Renault, but part of what needs to go right is they need to believe that he can do it. And he's gone there and proven that to be a shaky assumption.
Yeah. I mean, because it's either this for a couple of seasons and then maybe he could get a dream seat at Ferrari and try to win one in the last few years of his career, or it has to go right with Renault from kind of the change in regulation onwards, or next season onwards, if not this season. But whereas Carlos Sainz Jr. has probably, if he wanted to, if things don't go that well at Renault, he's already shown that he's a good enough driver that he could still go to the same quality team or a better team. Like, he's a hot prospect kind of for the rest of his career, for the next 5 years. So he could have one or two more changes to kind of jump up. Whereas Daniel has already been to the top once with Red Bull, even though they weren't at their best. You know, you wonder, there hasn't been a great track record of Formula One drivers in that position who win races at a team and then somehow end up moving away from the front and then going back up again. I can't really think of anyone like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
It's not like Romain Grosjean, like, got on podiums and then was like, cool, now I'll take the next big leap. No, he took a step down and was like, I'll just keep plugging away until maybe, you know, McLaren or Ferrari will call. And they don't call because you're not in that stream anymore. Those teams are then looking at the people who are 3 years younger than you.
Because the only people you could think of are people like Kimi Räikkönen and Lewis Hamilton, who came in when they were young, had early success winning championships, and then, you know, either their team fell off or, you know, whatever, and they just fell out of the dominant team. But then stuck around long enough that they got back into a dominant team, especially Hamilton, less so Kimi, because even when he got back into Ferrari, they just, you know, he wasn't the number one driver, even if they said, yeah, maybe he is, he kind of wasn't. But especially Hamilton, winning races right from his, you know, almost from his first race back to, oh yeah, I'll just pick up another 6 championships if you don't mind. But yeah, it's few and far between winners to losers back to winners. It's very few and far between.
Yeah, just so, I mean, I hope that doesn't happen to Daniel. I would love to see him winning races again.
Yeah. How do you rate his jump shot, though?
He looks like a guy who has watched a lot of basketball but never actually been taught how to play.
Yeah, it's
like,
true.
So Michael actually has a lovely shot on him. Like, actually has a lovely,
much better,
nice little, keeps his arm straight, pushes through the ball. Whereas Daniel is like off balance.
From his chest instead of from his forehead. Not good.
Yeah. He chucks it.
He's a chucker. I've always said that.
Yeah.
Serious eyes on this guy. That's what must be why he wears sunglasses all the time.
This is, if you're not going to be a Formula One driver, being your really good mate's trainer is the best way to be. Is probably the best part of the entourage, right?
They're
just
always
literally
the one
hang
that
out
get the
all the
praise,
time.
Right? Like after you win your first championship, you say thanks to my mum and my dad for sacrificing everything, thanks to the team. But when you've won your second and third championship, it's always, I need to say a huge thanks to my main wingman, the guy who's with me night and day, who drives me to succeed, my personal trainer. It's always
he drives me to survive, really.
Really does. I'd be dead without him right now.
I like their sunglasses. Also, like
Daniels,
his unbranded
you can see straight
black
through
cap.
Daniels.
Yeah, but they're just polarized, mate. It's just about removing glare. At that
Last time I checked, the sun is out. Why aren't they dark?
Because they're not transitions. They're just polarized. They just remove the brightness. That's all. Yeah, have you had polarized sunglasses before?
Yeah. Now that I actually listen to what you're saying, yeah, I have. Yeah, of course.
yeah. This quite the contrast being in England.
Yeah, it does look a bit different.
I remember this scene. This is great.
Oh yeah, this is in it was in the, you know, next time on Drive to Survive. It might have been in the main trailer as well.
But what I would do to go into an M&S right now.
Every day. This is how do I work an ATM. This is so it solidifies them in reality. Makes them relatable. Yeah. This is what I was doing when I was 26, going around the supermarket going, "Where's bacon?"
That's not what I said. I said guacamole. I didn't say guacamole.
Guacamole.
I just love that he just wants the trashiest Old El Paso taco kit, which is actually what he says. But even I knew. You're in a Marks & Spencer, mate. It's all own brand stuff. You can't get Old El Paso. Go to Morrison's. Go to Sainsbury's.
I still walk around the supermarket. I don't know where stuff is.
Oh, nice to meet you. He's shaking the hands of the lady at at M&S. Also, where does the stuff go?
So this makes me think that they gave him the car for that day, knowing that they were shooting. They're like, take this car, it's really sick. I don't know if that's his everyday sports car. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't drive cars of that caliber, but that's a special one they gave him just for that day.
Yeah, no, if it really... I think I would be a Formula 1 driver who was more reasonable. I would have my day... Like, I would just be like, if just give me a little Golf GTI for my everyday use.
No.
And then if I need a really nice car for the weekend, I'll ask for one. But I don't want to be responsible for a McLaren, every day. Like, I don't want the everyday Aventador or Hurricane just to drive around in. I need something sporty, but reasonable. I'm driving around the country lanes around the middle of England.
Yeah, okay. It looks like they're going to some underground poker match or something.
Who's the best poker player in F1?
Poker, it's a multifaceted thing. You need to bluff as well as you call.
You got to know when to fold them and know when to hold them.
Wise philosopher says that. Anyway, I'm just delaying for time. You got to be smart, is what I'm trying to say. It's not about raw ability. You got to be smart. So who's the smart guy on the F1 grid?
Probably Sebastian Vettel, right?
Wasn't there a driver a couple of years ago that was like, oh yeah, in my spare time, I'm an astrophysicist or something? Wasn't there someone like that? Was it Adrian Sutil or someone like that?
Yeah, it's Adrian Sutil, I'm pretty sure. He's a smart guy. That wouldn't surprise me if
cultured.
If Ericsson was an astrophysicist as well, or something like that.
I guess so. Anyone who sits around and plays cards with their parents and their parents' friends probably gets good at cards when they're young, right?
Kimi Räikkönen, I reckon.
Yeah.
He'd be disinterested, but then he would just
the reason Räikkönen's a good choice is he just gets everyone pissed. He matches you drink for drink, but it's nothing for him. It's like water. He keeps his head. Everyone else is like head down on the table going, I don't know, I'm all in. Next thing you know, Kimmy's king of the chips.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, it was your call. And
oh yeah, no, sorry.
Good call, Zach.
That's a nothing statement, Daniel.
Don't forget your helmet.
Yeah.
Don't worry, mate.
When the drivers are like the yellow car, the red car, the silver car. Like they're little kids.
It's very simple for them, isn't it? You got a point to prove, mate.
Same, mate, same. God, his helmet's rad. I forgot that he had that. That's a really silvery helmet. I like that.
Working. Check 1 2, check 1 2.
Yep, mate. Fucking hell.
Here we go. It's tense. This is tense. Oh.
Dun dun.
Yeah, this is what this season does so well.
Daniel Ricciardo hasn't run over a great yet.
Yeah, I'm truly invested. I don't remember what happened at this race.
But Rod, you do a Formula 1 podcast and you must know everything about Formula 1.
Yeah.
Like every other Formula 1 fan seems to.
Just give me a minute and I'll just download last year's episode and have a quick listen to it. And I'll come back to you about this.
Just call him by his real name. That was what that film was about. Call Me By My Name. Or by
Yeah,
Your
it was
Name.
about Ricardo.
It's just about the name Ricardo and people mispronouncing it.
Yeah. That's the chin stroking montage.
You know this is pre-corona as well because everybody's touching their faces so much.
Yes. What's going to happen?
Oh, you don't let him through. Right. Shit. Sorry, guys. Miscommunication. Yeah. All right. And which one is the go faster pedal?
Get him.
Not this time. Or this time.
Sorry, mate.
It's okay. Made the big overtake, and I guess I'll come in.
Yeah. Happens to Ricardo a fair bit, I reckon.
Might as well burn those tyres, right?
I guess so.
This is ultra stressful. I don't think I could work in a pit crew when the two teams come they come in at the same times. But Daniel's got that E-Tech. Ooh.
You know what that is? It's electronic technology.
Shit. Tell me what MAPFRA is.
No idea. I have been looking at that logo for a little while, thinking about that, and I've got no answers.
Hey, come on, Carlos. Go get him. Oh, look at that flap open.
It's bad. It's bad news.
He's coming for you, Daniel. He's coming. There's that shot I love. Now, Daniel, remember, the overtakes come from behind.
Medicine. They even use the same camera angles. Point made.
Yeah. Wow, I'm so mean to Daniel today. Whew.
Yeah, I guess so. So what do you reckon those bumps on his helmet do?
Push his head into the car.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
No, they're probably safety, aren't they? Right? Something like that?
I don't know. See, like, they're like little horns.
Yeah, what are they?
Are they air vents, maybe, or something?
No, what they do is, before he gets out of the car, like a little claw thing comes over and plucks the helmet off his head, puts it in the right space. It's a quick helmet swapper.
Oh, that's not
it's
good.
a bad move. Yeah, that gap really wasn't there.
They're both going to complain about that one.
What, a Haas driver complained about someone overtaking them? I don't believe it. I don't remember this at all.
No, I don't remember. This is like, yeah, sort of like, it's like a small, in the context of the race and the championship season, these moments are so small. I mean, when you watch it, it feels a little bit better, but this one feels maybe a little bit misjudged. Like, this isn't that big a deal. And this is what I was sort of trying to talk about a few shows ago, like, this season more than the one before. It sort of feels a little bit like trying to make something out of nothing and doesn't always pull it off so well.
No, exactly. I mean, obviously, McLaren were pretty happy about it, but I don't think that this was as much the battle between Ricciardo and Sainz that this episode made it out to be.
That wasn't the story of the race.
No, I don't think Renault
or even their season,
going, oh no, we're fucked. McLaren are much faster than us, and that Carlos Sainz, why did we ever get rid of him? I don't think they were thinking anything like that. I suppose it was in Barcelona. That means something to him. Oh yeah, remember Sebastian Vettel's racing too.
We didn't get to see who won the race. Not important.
Get a haircut.
He's kind of known for his hair.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too long, as if he had it cut a month ago and hasn't touched it since, and it's just a bit wild.
Yes. See, there it is. Australia.
He's not even holding it with the label forward. He hasn't had that training.
No.
Well, let us know how that works out, mate.
I think you should try using some of his weaknesses instead of his strengths to see how that goes for him.
Using his strengths didn't work, yeah.
Yeah, try your weaknesses. Danielle? Oh, great.
It's because it starts with Ricardo all jerky and smiley and it finishes with him, on the other end of the seesaw. And you get a feeling like, wow, he's really he's gone through something.
It was rough.
Well, we're looking at what's going to happen next time, but we're talking about what's happening this time, which means our job is done. So this is where they start teasing. Yeah, we do have Mercedes. We do have Ferrari this season.
Yeah, and heaps happened there, and you can't wait to hear from them. They're really cool and fun and interesting. Look at the wild hair that they have. And their measured tone. Wild. What could go wrong for them? They've actually things are actually at stake for them, like the championship and race titles and wins.
You think they would have started with that, but it doesn't matter. Zach, there's one last thing that we have to do before we can close off this week's show, and that is a super quiz. How about we get into it?
Let's do it.
We will accept a couple of questions. Should one only win one? Would one want to have won that one in round one?
Can you repeat the question?
So, Zach, I will accept a couple of questions. I won't ask you to repeat them unless I don't understand them. So hit me with your best shots, mate.
Who am I, Rod? That's today's super quiz.
Zach
I don't know if I've ever done.
You all the other one.
Yep, that's it. Shit, I had 17 questions. you got to. This is always the risk with the Who Am I, though, because you might get it on the first one, and then that'll be the end of the show. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half hints.
Okay.
In the traditional Who Am I style, they will go chronologically, building on the information from the last. Are you ready for the Who Am I of this Formula One person?
I'm ready to struggle more than would seem logical.
But that'll keep it fun.
Okay.
So just keep it light. Right? We've been podcasting for years and years now. Just keep it light, keep it fun, keep it flirty,
Yeah. Okay.
Make the audience want to love you.
Flirty. Okay.
What do you do? You do about 30 podcasts now, right? So
anyway, Zach, let's fucking do it.
First one. I was born in St. Peter in South Elmham in the UK on the 28th of October, 1930. Any
Christian
guesses?
Horner.
No. Love it. Next. I entered 2 Grands Prix as a driver during the 1958 season. By the way, if that was Christian Horner, he'd be, 90 this year?
90 years old. So good.
Hint number 2. I entered 2 Grands Prix as a driver during the 1958 season, but failed to qualify for either of them.
It's not someone like a Bernie Ecclestone or something, is it?
It's Bernie Ecclestone. Yep.
Get the fuck out of here. Oh, man. My first guess was going to be Max Mosley or maybe Sterling Moss. And I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll just delay it a little bit by throwing out someone a bit wilder. But I want to hear the rest of the clues. Hit me with the rest of the clues, man.
I retired from racing soon after, but kept my hand in F1 by purchasing the Brabham team in 1971. Would that have cut the mustard for you?
I know he owned teams, but I wouldn't have thought that he owned the Brabham team. So
that's what I was thinking when I put that hint in there.
And it would have got me closer, but I might not have got it from that.
And then at this point, I think this is maybe where you might. This is with the first hint number 4, that I was like, he'll get it. He'll either get it here, or he doesn't think it's this person at all and will struggle. I formed the Formula One Constructors Association in 1974 and secured the F1 TV rights for the association. I licensed those rights out and kept 23% of the revenue for myself.
Yeah, I would have got it from that one.
And then, give
me some more of the clues.
Along with help from my very good friend and business partner, Max Mosley, I essentially took control of F1 and all of its revenue through the Concord Agreement in 1997.
I'm incredibly rich, and I funneled it all out of F1 for my own personal wealth.
Yeah.
The only tidbit of information about Bernie Ecclestone from like the last, I feel, 5 years that I even remember or know is that Nico Rosberg interviewed him for his weird YouTube channel thing. And Nico Rosberg said, my daughter loves Peppa Pig. She's crazy for it. And then Bernie Ecclestone sort of held up his finger, went, wait there, and walked off to his bedroom and came back with a pair of Peppa Pig socks and gave them to Nico Rosberg and said, give this to your daughter. I don't want them. These are yours now. But it's like, why does Bernie Ecclestone have Peppa Pig socks? I mean, if he got them for his daughter or granddaughter, that makes sense. But why does he have them? As if someone gave them to him.
Yes, that's... I'm not going to cast aspersions about Bernie Ecclestone at this point about why he might have Peppa Pig socks in his...
in case he's listening.
Yeah, in case he's listening. Well, he's omnipotent. Yeah. Well, maybe he's less potent than he was back in 2017 when the sport was so thoroughly sick of him that they replaced him with the mustachioed Chase Carey.
Can't be too much of that thing because he is a father. He's an impending father-to-be.
Shit. With,
Don't
what's
know.
her face?
A woman.
Yeah. I Googled him earlier and saw that woman's name. She was with him at heaps of F1 races. She seemed lovely. I'm sure she is.
Oh, probably. Oh, she's probably all those things.
Other than the controversies around his thoughts on, like, Hitler and how Max Mosley could be Prime Minister, even though Max Mosley's father was a fascist.
Dear.
Things like that.
And we're getting into some real bad areas.
Yeah, we know. So other than that, Bernie seems okay. And the sport wouldn't be where it is without Bernie Ecclestone, which is by no means condoning him.
Worst of all, giving away Peppa Pig socks when you're going to be a father again. I mean, that's a rookie. That's a rookie mistake.
It's a waste.
Hang on to those
throwing away
boys.
Money.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for putting that together. I'm sorry I spoiled it a little bit, but I am quietly a little bit proud also that I got it, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's usually things like that. Whenever we've done quizzes like that, like those, it goes one of two ways. It's either we get it immediately or there's no chance. And we get to the end, it's like, I still don't know who it is. You've given me the initials, the first name. I don't know.
Got to keep it spicy. Well, Zach, we are 3 episodes down in the Dare to Swear season, and with the prospect of 2.5 months before the next race, I dare to swear that we'll probably get a couple more of these done, which is good. I don't know that we'll get the remaining 7 episodes done in the next 9 weeks. That might be a stretch, but I mean, maybe we'll just we'll kick on whenever we feel like it and get as many done as we get done. But if we don't get the whole season done, that's okay. We might even pick it up in the off season or something. But I have a feeling that next year's Drive to Survive season might be a bit light on, may not be a whole 10 episodes, if you know what I mean. So we may as well make hay while the sun's shining, eh?
Yes, exactly.
And as we push towards the 1 hour mark, given that there's nothing really to talk about, we've done our job and then some. What was your final thought going to be there?
No, I was just going to say it's either going to be a really, really, really interesting Drive to Survive Season 3 because they'll have absolute amazing insight into the goings-on behind closed doors, or they won't have any insight at all, and it'll be a little light on. So we'll see.
Yeah, probably one of those. Don't really want to bet on either one of those right now, though. But, well, look, we'll be back with some more Dare to Swear commentaries. Hope you're enjoying those. And we might see how we go in terms of F1 news developments. If there's a big development, we'll get straight into putting together a show. If there's no news, we'll at least come back and do another commentary and another quiz. I guess I owe Zach a really easy one, so that's fine. We'll see how it goes, but that's to say, might be a few days, might be a week, might be 2 weeks, but whenever it is, please everyone stay safe, look after yourself and each other, and until next time, my name's been Rodney.
My name's been Zach.
We'll talk to you on the other side. Bye-bye.
Bye.